Welcome back. My name is Nick Odom. I'm excited to welcome you to the weekly Lead Champ Pro call. If you are tuning in live, welcome back. It's great to see all of you guys, all of your smiling faces. If you are watching this recorded on YouTube, just go ahead and hit the like button. You know you're going to like the video. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit the bell. You want to be notified whenever we put more videos out in the future. But you know what's even better than getting notified whenever a new video comes out? Being here live with us to see it recorded in person. So if you want to, join us next week, Wednesday at 12 o'clock Eastern on leadchampliveddials.com, and you can be here for the actual recording of the next training. One quick plug, and then we're going to jump right into it today, but training is very important. I was always taught the best trained team always wins, and if you are building a team, okay, and you want to win, you need to make sure you're training your team. And this goes double for new agents and for staff that are learning how to dial the phone. All the money is made on the phone in this business. And every Thursday, okay, at 10 a.m. Eastern, for our Lead Champ users only, in our exclusive Discord channel, you can actually be a part of live dials with Josh and Jamie and see how they are increasing their phone skills, how they're helping all of their new agents have success, and maybe even more importantly for some of y'all building a big business, how they are teaching their staff to dial at a high level and help them grow in the business as well. So feel free to bring you and your agents and your staff to Discord tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for that live dial training. And speaking of Josh and Jamie, the co-founders of Lead Champ Pro, some of the hardest working people that I know, true givers, by the way. These guys are extremely generous with their time, with their money, right? They go out of their way to help other people to win, not just because it benefits them, right? And many times it's to their detriment because they just want to see other people win. And I know all of y'all know they both sell a ton of insurance, right? They've built massive agencies. They've built Lead Champ into a successful company as well. Both of them have had many other successes before this. And they both have incredible families on top of that. So you know you're around some winners. But here's the cool part. They are taking their time out of their day that they could be with their family. They could be selling more insurance, but instead they are on Zoom with us today or on YouTube if you're watching us on YouTube to train us on how we can all take our business to the next level and just scrape off a little bit of that success that Josh Lockhart and Jamie Cheer are having, because these two gentlemen are actually successful. So Josh, Jamie, thank you guys so much for being on the call today. I will pass it over to y'all. Let me put you guys up on screen so everyone can see you.
All right. Got my new headset on. I've been anti-headset until recently, and it is nice. I feel that people have been taking me more seriously. They've been signing up more.
More people are answering the phone.
More people are answering the phone because they want to hear my voice. All right, today we are going to talk about things that you can do inside of Lead Champ to increase profitability, right? If you're here and you're listening and you want more profits, in the chat, just type the word profits. And so we're going to give you a list of things that we have written down. Yes, we actually have notes. We've actually talked about this. We have a plan and we know what we're doing. Trust us. But yeah, if you do these things, it's guaranteed to give you more profits, ... if you do them. Is that right, Jamie?
Yeah, I think that's probably the number one thing that I scratch my head about. Again, people who take the time to jump into a system and don't learn all the little nooks and crannies about how it works. The number one thing is please just hit the what happened button. I have to say it over and over and over again. Just please, please, please. There are 50, 60K a month producers in here who pay for this software that just use it to book appointments and they don't hit the what happened button. There's 50K producers in here who hit the what happened button, but then they go book their appointments on Calendly. I don't, and so none of the text reminders going. I'm scratching my head. Today, the what happened button, yes, please, please, please do that. But there's a few like little things, maybe some things that maybe get overlooked that we want to talk about, some just little things that maybe you consider like in the little nooks and crannies of the system that you probably know about, but you're moving fast, you don't think about it. And it's like there really is a disposition for almost every single situation where you can make sure that proper follow-up is happening. So that's kind of some of the main things we want to talk about.
Again, profits. I've heard lots of people in business say people over profits. What I like to say is the people need profits. to put their people first. So that's what we're going to talk about. And so I'm going to jump right into it. The first one, and I would write this list out as we go through it, and then grade yourself on how well you're doing. Okay. So the first one is if you are logged into your Lead Champ, or if you go to log in right now, on the left side on the menu, there's a little red circle with a number in it. And that number represents how many unread messages you have. And if you have over about 30, you're literally throwing money out the window, right? And again, you guys hit us up for support. So I've seen a lot of your accounts, and I'll go into somebody's account just this morning, 250 unread messages. Guaranteed every single time, because I'm always curious. I'm like, I bet there is some missed opportunities here. And sure enough, I'll click through and it's like somebody's texting in, I want to buy insurance. I want an appointment. And like they never see it because you're not paying attention. So the number one thing is keep, like, this is not email. Now, Jamie, full transparency. Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot. How many unread emails do you have on your phone right now?
Are you sure you want to know this number? Can you keep
I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours.
73,278.
Okay. I'm at 28,000. So.
All right. Well, do you want to know how many unread text messages I have?
How many?
I mean, it's not much bad. 172.
Okay.
However,
this is what I'm talking about.
But my Lead Champ inbox is under 20.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I think the main thing, which is the customers get answered and I book appointments.
Here's I'm gonna probably bring this person up a couple of times. So I'm not gonna show. I'm gonna try to limit my screen share as much as possible, and the reason being is because we can't put screen shares on YouTube, so we're trying to limit as much as possible. But I have a lead, not a client, right now that had I not, like, every morning I scroll through all my messages. We'll get into like some of the buttons you can click. And this guy, I met with him like a week or two ago. He no-showed me. He wanted to put $1,000 a month into a policy and just randomly texted me, hey, can we get back together? I want some more information about it, right? And like, if I was the type that I just didn't pay attention, like that's a $10,000 commission. I'd like to have that commission. So would Michelle. All right. So real quick, one of the things people ask, like, well, okay, they're unread. Some of them I want to come back to. What do you do? So I'm going to screen share real quick. There's a couple of buttons. So here on the top, we have this little mail button and this star button. Okay. If you don't know what these are, highlight them. It'll say what they are: mark read, mark unread, right? So ones that I want to come back to, I mark unread, and because maybe I want to get back to them again, or it's something I want to follow up on, or if it's really important, like, this one here, this is a client, and we're kind of going back and forth and work on some stuff, I can star it. So if I star this guy, right? And that's going to put it at the top of the list, and it won't go away, because if I go in here and I type back to them, then it's been read and it's just going to go away and you'll forget about it. So also, this other side of that is don't just reply to people and go, oh, we're good, because it's going to kind of disappear in the system. And yes, there's automations, but if it's a high value target, you want to make sure that it's top of mind. So pay attention, clear it out, because I've seen too many people's accounts just literally losing money as a result of this.
I mean, you just taught me something new. I had no idea that star was there. I mean, I'm sure I've seen it, but that right there is huge. I mean, I've got my admin in the system, and constantly she's having to click through, and she answers my client messages. So that's a big thing to be able to star things for her.
You just made me think of something else. We use this for support Lead Champ. I use it for my staff person. So if you have a staff person that's in your Lead Champ account, right down here, when you're doing messages, if you go over to the right, I can type. So my admin, her name is Justine. She's fantastic. She is the best virtual assistant in the world. So if you have one, you have maybe the second best. Mine's the first best. But
I don't know, dude. Gia's on the call right now. Like, I don't want to have to go back and forth.
Oh, love you, Gia. All right. So you can text. you can tag them and say, hey, follow up on this, whatever the thing is, and they can do that. So we use that quite a bit as well. That's helpful and handy. So, all right. Next thing, let's talk about. Let's go over to the what happened button and kind of go through that because so for everybody that's on our Lead Champ leads, we provide them a data sheet. Like we can literally break down how was the appointment booked? Was it self-booked, AI booked? Did you manually book it? What was your show rate for manually booked? What was your show rate for AI booked? And we have all these metrics, and it makes me crazy. A lot of times I'll go to somebody's sheet and it'll look like literally no one is showing up. And I'll talk with them, and turns out they're having lots of conversations. So that means that the what happened button isn't getting pushed. And so how many times, if this happens to you, you talk to somebody, they say, we need to get back together for an illustration, maybe because it's an IUL or an annuity. I need to talk to my wife. Let's talk 2 days from now. I'm driving and you hear like a freaking drill in the background and no one can hear anything and you reschedule, but maybe you ask them a few questions, but you don't get to deliver the prices, right? I don't know if that happens to anybody else. Does that happen to you, Jamie?
Yeah, or
rarely.
or
All
they're
of
looking at
Jamie's
they're looking at their account and they're reading off their account numbers and there's only one number left and the phone dies.
right. All of Jamie's appointments, by the way, they all buy on the first call and they all qualify for Americo. So
That's very true.
he's the magic man.
Mhm.
But so you do that, and then what happens? You just go on to the next lead. You literally forget about them. You burn the number, and it's never forgotten, or it's always forgotten, right? And so when we started Lead Champ, Jamie said something super smart to me, and he said, if we want to increase our retention, we have to convert those people that don't close on the first call. Essentially, is what he said. And I'm kind of like the poster boy for this, right? I took my retention at its worst at 59%, and as of this morning, my Americo persistency was 81% on a 12-month. So huge leaps and bounds. So with that said, I'm going to bring up the what happened button. Actually, I'm not, because I'm trying to limit screen share. The incomplete appointment. Jamie, do you want to talk about what is the incomplete appointment and when to use it?
Yeah, absolutely. So many of you have probably seen that inside of your Lead Champ underneath the what happened button. That is just one. It's like this is an appointment I need to come back to and finish. I mean, and Josh talked about it being like, oh, maybe the wife wasn't there. My main thing is I'm 50% of the way through an appointment, 75% of the way through an appointment. Something happens. Their bank account info is not correct. Their phone dies. I'm taking each and every one of these people and I'm putting them into the incomplete appointment. And I'm able to take notes on what happened. And that's going to move them to the incomplete appointment pipeline stage. And periodically, I'll go to my pipeline and I'll go just see where is some low hanging fruit, some people that I was somewhere in the middle of an appointment and something happened that derailed us that we couldn't finish. I mean, it happens all the time. I think I probably have the worst luck possible when it comes to specifically people's phones dying when I literally am getting their bank info. Like it happens multiple times a week. I can't even explain it. But all of those people go into the incomplete appointment section for me. And in between dials, in between appointments, like, what am I doing? I'm calling no-shows and I'm calling incomplete appointments. I'm trying to get some low-hanging fruit. And I would say at least 2 or 3 sales a month of mine are people that I'm following up with that we had an appointment, something happened, now they're ghosting me. They were very interested and their phone died for 3 weeks, but they're in there and that there's somebody I want to be able to come back to. So like what do you do with those people? Well, I didn't make the sale. They didn't get sent to underwriting. Maybe I didn't even get to like go through all the options, or maybe I did go through the options. They picked an option and they lost their bank info. So I'm not going to do a think about it quote because they were sold, at least for this particular example. I'm not going to do a not now because it wasn't a not now. It was a right now, and then their phone died. So I do an incomplete appointment. So that right there, I can take notes on what happened, moves them into that pipeline stage. So I could probably give 15 examples of what you could use that incomplete appointment for, but it just separates that person into a list that I can come back to. And I think there's a potential lead value is one of the fields on the form. So if it's like
Yes.
$500 a month, I put 6,000 in the potential lead value. So now when I go to look at my incomplete appointment, I see John Smith $6,000 opportunity. Like I want to come back and I want to call John because if I can just finish this appointment and get that last account number, then I've got, a $6,000 commission coming my way.
All right, so I'm gonna show my screen and show you kind of the best way to do this, and a few things. And Jamie, do we require the potential lead value on the new forms? If not, we
Um,
should.
Almost everything's required.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So if I'm on my lead pipeline, so I'm on opportunities, lead pipeline, here is my incomplete appointment tab. And this is frightening. I have almost $1.7 million in opportunities if I can get a hold of some of these people, right? So money just waiting there, right? If they answer, that could be a great day. So when you go and you're inside of the contact, you fill it out. Again, there's this potential lead value, right? This is maybe they told you how much they want to put in. Maybe they told you how much is in their 401k. They want to roll over to an FIA, or maybe it's just a best guess based on your conversation, and you want to put something in there. So when you're doing some filters, I'm going to show you here in a second. You obviously the highest value people you want to focus your time on, right? Also, case notes, right? This goes into the notes section, whatever you type in here, and every single time, because we're all aggressively lazy. I don't know about all. I know I am. Is I'm moving fast. I get off the appointment and I know to take notes, but I'm like, oh, I'll remember. I am not going to remember anything ever, right? Ask my wife, okay? I can't remember anything. And if you have like an inventory or whatever. So once you do that, it's going to get saved. Now, a little tip, before, a lot of times we're rescheduling appointments, always 100% of the time, hit the what happened button before you reschedule an appointment. So what happened button, reschedule an appointment. Here in a moment, when we get to the think about it, that will be very important. Okay, so here it is. And then let's say it's a rainy day. You want to do some follow-ups, or you're in between lead packs and you really want to maximize, your effort, squeeze the dollars out. So I'm on the contact page and I have a whole pile of incompletes, right? I have, 15,000 contacts in my Lead Champ. So the easiest way to go about this is I'm going to go do a filtered search, and I'm going to search for pipeline stage. I'm going to say lead pipeline and incomplete appointment. Now, I could just do that. Oh, something's going on here. I have two of them. Let's try this one. Okay. So I could just do this, and I could click through and call these. If I wanted to get a little bit more fancy, I'll add another filter to it. I'll say I want to search by, it's called potential. The same thing it's on the form. Let's see here.
Total lead value.
There we go. Total lead value is greater than 0. So anything that I've actually put in there. Okay, so I got 50 of those. And if I click on the first one, like who is this? And right there. Okay, he was laid off of work. He said he's got a 401k. He's got 30K in there. So cool. Like if we get a hold of this guy, he rolls his 401k over. He also wants to do an IUL for $100 a month or so. So like that's a deal. So when I call him back, I'm like, hey, we talked about your 401k. Let's And some of them are really big, some of them are small. But like if you're never paying attention to those, you're just leaving money on the table. Anything you'd add to that, Jamie?
Well, I also noticed how you clicked in the activity section and it brought up the answers on the forum. I thought that was pretty slick. I didn't know that you could actually do that. Typically, like I would just go check the case notes, and I would that's how I'm getting all my information, or I'm going and scrolling down the left side to the custom fields. But that's much cleaner and easier to do. So anytime you fill out the what happened button, apparently you can go click on that form fill, and it'll show you exactly what you filled out in there, which is great.
Yep.
Um, Yeah, I guess let's move on to think about it.
Think about it. Okay, so yeah, I'll let you talk about that one, and then I have an example of that happened this week.
Yeah, so I don't know how many people actually utilize Think About It. I think About It is one that um, likely is underutilized. Um, but to be able to send someone a quote is basically the purpose of that. So you kind of have two different scenarios. One is somebody wants to think about it, they don't reschedule an appointment. Someone wants to think about it, they do reschedule an appointment. So if somebody wants to think about it and they do not reschedule an appointment and you do the think about it and you go, you can just do one option. You don't have to do all three, or you can do three options. So maybe I show them 300,000, 200,000, 100,000, and it's I showed them a maxed out Americo IUL, a whole life, and an accidental. I'm able to show all three of those. And it's going to say, Americo IUL 450,000, 250 bucks a month. Option one, option two, Americo Eagle 40,000, 93 bucks a month, and Moo Accidental, family plan $153 a month. Options one, two, and three, which is phenomenal. Now, if I do not reschedule an appointment, the drip is going to happen trying to reschedule that appointment, asking them if they've had a chance to think about the options that were presented to them. So it is going to continue to text them trying to book an appointment. If you book an appointment, it's going to just send them, here's options one, two, and three, followed by here's our rescheduled appointment time. Now, what's very important is the order in which you do this. So Josh talked about hit the what happened button first, always before you reschedule an appointment. So whatever you do last is the automation that is in charge. So if I do the appointment first and then I hit think about it. So, hey, Josh, I got you rescheduled for 4 o'clock on Thursday. Then, hey, Josh, here's the three options we talked about. It is now going to continue to text Josh trying to book an appointment because that was the last thing that I filled out. So if you fill out think about it first and then you book the appointment, all it's going to send is just that first, here's the three options, here's the quote, which I do that all the time so that they have something visual to see. And one of the probably things that is also underutilized and think about it is there is a section under each option for uploading an illustration. I don't know how many people actually know about this. So let's say I show three different illustrations. I show them an easy solve Americo, I show them a maxed out NLG, and then I also compare with F&G. And they were just someone who we were in the weeds doing three different illustrations. Or I did one for dad, one for mom, and one for their kid. I can attach all three of those illustrations. And when they get the email, it's going to be like, hey, Josh, option one lists out everything with a link to that illustration. They click on it and it opens the file. So there's literally a link to the file for that illustration. So you could send somebody all the illustrations you went over. And again, these are the people who are sometimes not the one call closes. These are the 2, 3, 4 call close people where now they have something to think about. Like we talk about sending people more information before our next appointment. Like, hey, I need to talk to my wife. What are you talking to your wife about, Bob? Because otherwise, it's the game of telephone, in my personal opinion. So I like to use that so that we're not playing the game of telephone. Like, show your wife this all the time and say, hey, Bob, I just rescheduled an appointment with you. I also just clicked the IUL info button. I also just clicked the mortgage protection info button, whatever it is. Show your wife the 6-minute video so we're not playing the game of telephone. He's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like that, I'm constantly doing that. So again, overall, what happened button first, then reschedule appointment. That's the most important thing to remember. But using that think about it button, I don't know, Josh, if you want to pull that up and show kind of what those
Yeah,
options look like.
absolutely. So here's the form right here. It says their why for having the policy, parentheses, whatever you type here, the client will see. So keep that in mind. Don't say anything crazy. But I type this as like I'm them, like, hey, I wanted this policy for my wife and dot 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 dot. So it hits home a bit more. And so I'd fill that out. which I'm going to show you an example here. Here's where you upload illustration 1, illustration 2, illustration 3. It saves it to your notes section, which I'll show you in a moment, we'll get into that here in a moment, and hit send. So again, like Jamie said, this could be somebody who said, hey, we need to get back together. I need to talk to my wife. It also could be, I've literally sold policies. If you've ever had somebody that's like, no calls, just text me. It's like, okay, fine. I don't want to sit there and have a whole full-blown text conversation. So I had a lady do that recently, and I was like, all right, send me, your age, date of birth, whatever. She sent it over. I went and ran some quotes, threw it in here, hit the think about it button, and let it run. And she got the automations. A couple days later, she's like, yeah, I want option 2. So we got on the phone and wrote it up. So just yesterday, or day or two ago, the guy I told you about, we had an appointment, and he texts me. He's like, hey, I never received the email. Can you send me that info we talked about, which we did not get to go over because he missed his appointment. So I drafted up 2 illustrations, and then I shot a Loom video, right? And I literally just put all that in that section I just showed you. So I did the write-up, why we were doing what we're doing with the Loom video with both options. Now I'm just going to let that run. It's probably going to start following up with him tomorrow. Hey, do you want to take the next step and see if you get approved? And of course, the email went out with the attached illustration. So it's going to do the follow-up. It's going to keep dripping on them, and I don't have to necessarily remember that. So,
It's really good. I never thought of shooting a Loom and dropping it in the Y for their policy. That's massive. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, how many situations could you use it for with something like that? So,
I mean, you can do a lot. I mean, I could shoot a Loom and just get on there and be like, Bob, if you're thinking about canceling your policy, rewatch this video. You said X. Like, there's so much you could do with that. That's really cool.
mm-hmm. All right, and that kind of bridges into, I was just showing it here, I'm going to show it one more time, is whether on any of the what happened buttons, if let's say it showed and approve, there's a spot for illustrations, or you can put the application there. It'll send up either or. I've done both. Client inventories. Load your stuff up in here because it's all going to get saved over here. So you have your note section with all the things that occurred, and you have your document section. So I have all this guy's illustrations that we've talked about, and it's so important for many reasons. Let's say I have a client in a review later this week, right? So I'm able to go back to her client inventory, see her health, see what we did in her policies last year. Especially if you're doing IULs, this is huge because we're illustrating what's going to happen in the policy. And then a year later, you're going to get a policy statement, and it's going to say, hey, your policy did this. And you're going to be like, I don't even remember how we wrote up that policy. It's been so long. I can't remember anything. So I just had one. I got the package right here. It was a F&G policy, and I looked at the statement and I was like, man, this looks like it performed really, really well over the last year. And then I went and compared it to the illustration that I did that I showed him that he signed up on. And the IUL just performed way better than what I had originally told him. So when we did the interview, I was like, hey, Bob, here's what we illustrated. You actually have a couple $1,000s more of cash value because of this, and this. So especially if you're doing IULs, that's going to be huge to come back and bring that back to top of memory.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, saving these files is going to save you in so many different ways because you'll have clients who will say you told one or notes. They'll say you said one thing, but you're like, nope, I have it all documented here exactly how it went. Like it's going to protect you. I've gotten into situations. I'll give a couple different examples. I had one example where I had a lady I wrote a policy for maybe 18 months ago when Lead Champ was first starting, and she's made her premium payment faithfully, and she decided to go back to the insurance carrier and say, I never spoke to this agent ever, and I want to get all of my money back, and he wrote this up without my permission, and blah, 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 blah. And then I was able to go into Lead Champ, screenshot every single conversation that we had, every form that was filled out, and guess what? That lady canceled her policy, but I didn't get some crazy chargeback or a slap on the wrist from the insurance company or the State Department of Insurance, because that type of stuff can happen when you get customer complaints if you don't have a way to defend yourself. So had I not defended myself, I could have gotten a slap on the wrist. And I have had that, multiple times where I've been able to use Lead Champ Pro to prove that I did what I said I was going to do and everything was kosher. That's number one. Number two, I had a guy yesterday who hits me up with a screenshot and he says he sees a Facebook ad that says you can get $4 million IUL. And he goes, why don't I have that? And I'm like, excuse me, a $4 million IUL. And I go and I search the Facebook page, and he's like, I want a $4 million IUL, and I also want to maximize the cash value. If you know anything about how IULs work, he's 49 years old. He's paying $500 a month for a maxed out IULE, which if anybody does move IULE, it's a great product. And it compares to NLG if you max fund it. Like if you do cash value side by side, the way it illustrates, it's a great product for, these lower death benefit amounts. So I wrote him a $500 a month, maxed out NLG for $274,000 in insurance, a 49-year-old man. And he was like, the agent that I'm talking to says that you screwed me over and that all you care about is the commission, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? I was able to go to the notes section, show the illustration that I wrote, prove that I max funded it, and say, actually, the guy that you're talking to that's trying to sell you a $4 million IUL, let me go run another illustration. You actually have to pay $5,000 a month to even get it. And that's, $5,000 a month protection focus to get a $4 million IUL. And there's no way you can afford that, number one. But then number two, I did what I said I was going to do, and here's the proof of it. So just in general, like taking notes, all this stuff, you don't think about that until it's too late. Or you have just clients who, they don't remember why you got the policy in the first place. They want to cancel, and you can go back and you can kind of interrogate the reality a little bit, being like, hey, is that still important to you? So all of it is like short term, maybe inconvenience for you to take 30 seconds to, slow down. And then 9 months from now, a year from now, when someone hits you up and questions something, or also when I'm doing these beneficiary leads, it's really nice. The first thing I'm able to do is I'll have the beneficiary pulled up and then I'll have the original client pulled up. And I'll read the why to the beneficiary. Your mom wanted this policy because, quote, she wanted to make sure, insert why. And they're like, oh, that makes so much sense. So,
Well,
yeah.
Okay, let me jump in there. Okay. And I'm not talking about anybody on this call, but we have another group of clients that if they do fill what happened buttons out, they're just going to be like the why, death protection or death benefit, or, it's just going to be 2 words, if anything at all. And I get it, where it takes extra work, it takes focus, it takes reading and writing and things like that. But if you take 60 extra seconds and actually write out what they said and write it in a way that, like, when they read it, it's like they're reading their own words, right? You're going to have situations where maybe you're like, I'm thinking of this guy. I got back on the phone with him. We talked a few times, hadn't closed a deal. And he's like, well, I want this. And I was like, well, Bob, you said, and I just literally read back to him what he said. And he's like, I did say that. He goes, do you just write down everybody, what they say? And I was like, yeah, right. You're depending on me to provide, find what you want. And if I don't listen and take notes, you're not going to get what you want. He's like, that's really smart. you know? So, yes, take the time, take the extra effort, and go a little further and keep those notes in your Lead Champ account. Now,
One last thing, Josh.
okay.
There was a guy, Paul McLean, for anybody who was around back in the day, taught me so much. But one of the things he did with annual reviews is, this is before Lead Champ. He would have like pieces of paper and he'd write down their pet's name. He'd write down their kid's name, and he'd keep his files. And then when he came around for annual review, he's like, "Hey Bob, how's Bucky doing?" Like his little Chihuahua. And they'd be like, "How the heck did he remember that?" But it's like when you have those little details that come up, all of that is worthy of taking notes on. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I have annual reviews now. Been using Lead Champ for almost 24 months. Like, I have annual reviews that come up where these notes from last year are there, and I'm able to be like, they talked about their grandkid doing gymnastics. Like, I write all this stuff down because it all brings it back to top of mind, and it makes that annual review so much better. So like, you got to think long term. You got to think, what is this going to do for me potentially a year from now? If there's a potential cancellation situation, if there's a missed payment, if there's a this, if there's a beneficiary, like, keeping all of those notes is very important.
I see. You see Bryce's
Yeah,
question.
I can take care of that.
Yeah. If you, I'm gonna cover scheduled text if you want to pull that up. All right. So again, here is another example. Like, again, not this group, but we do have people that aren't hitting the what happened button when they sell a client, so they're not getting any of the client messages. This just happened to me over the last couple of weeks, right? One of my clients got the birthday message, and they said thank you, said you're welcome, and then like a week later, they got this referral message. It's like, hey, if you have anybody you want to refer us to, you can. Here's a list of services on our website, which takes them to my VMU site. And anyway, she goes, hey, I do have somebody. I want to get a policy for my grandson. Text me back after August 17th. There's no way I'm going to remember to do that. And like maybe you do this, maybe you've done this before, Lead Champ, right? You'll schedule an appointment like to remind yourself. And then what would happen is I would get to the appointment and I would completely forget, why am I talking to this person? And so what we did is we created a scheduled text button. And it's more than just a scheduled text, and I'll show you why. So you fill this form out. Again, take good notes, and this says the client will not see. So you can type whatever you want in here. Hey, Sally wants a policy for her grandson. She said to hit her back after the 17th, whatever the things are. Okay, that's for you. And then you literally type in the text that you want to send on that date, right? Just type it in verbatim. Hi, Sally. We just spoke. You told me you want a policy for your grandson. You said, all the things, and then you pick the date. It's going to send it at 8 a.m. on the date that you pick. Okay. So I did that. And here was the text. Hey, Sheila, Josh Lockhart here. You asked me to reach out to you after the 17th to look into policies for your grandson. Is this week a good time to talk? Now, why that button is so important is not because it scheduled a text. That was cool. It texted me a reminder of what I texted her and the notes on why I was texting her. Okay. That was more important than the actual text itself. So she goes, hey, thanks so much for keeping me on track. I'm like, yeah, I did that all on my own. Right. And so we went ahead and went back and forth, and we have an appointment on Thursday at 5. So we'll be writing her an IUL for her grandson because of the scheduled text button. Well, I'm gonna hype up for a minute that we always have things cooking up, right? We have some big updates for Lead Champ coming over the next week or two. A lot of it, like always, we've been building tons of stuff on the back end that no one's going to know or appreciate except for me, Jamie, and the team because of how much work it's been to do it. But the button dashboard is going to get a complete makeover. One of the things is all the yellow buttons that are just taking up all the space are all going to go away. And it's just going to be one button, and you can send whatever product it is. We've added 40 product brochures just this week. So different products, different brochures, different carriers. It's been a massive undertaking. And so that is going to make way. So in the future, we can continue to add products without your screen just getting crushed and shrunken down. So that's really cool. We've gotten a new look for a lot of our buttons. Yeah. And if anybody...
Let me ask this, Josh. How many people have ever hit the no-show button, the send IUL info button, and it didn't work? Probably a fair amount of people. Okay, so coding stuff, tags.
Yeah, let me just, I don't like, I can't, you can't say that without me saying it's it's not that the button doesn't work. The button's just a button, right? It's coding, it's cache, and when we say cache, people always, Drake is always like, I cleared my cache. Like, yeah, I get it, but it's still a thing always and forever. So we have a solution, we've built around it, and
Yeah, so basically our solution makes it so that it will work 100% of the time, every time, which is pretty incredible. So you're going to go from seeing a million buttons to probably a total of five. You'll click one of these buttons and it will pull up a form. So, for instance, like the action buttons, send client info, pull up a form, first name, last name, email, phone number, all that stuff copies over. From a drop down menu, send IUL video, submit. From a drop down menu. So, if anybody's noticed how the no show button is no longer a button, the no show button's a form. Anybody who is frustrated with the no show button, like really happy that it works every time right now, it's because we switched to a form. So forms work 100% of the time, 99.912% according to Josh in the chat. It works that percent of the time. But yeah, so all of these are switched to forms. They're much cleaner. It's much better. And it'll work 100% of the time. It's already been tested out. So everything from sending product info, sending informational website, sending your credibility site, you'll literally just click from a little drop down menu, submit, and it will work instantly, which is incredible. Also, this is a very little thing, but there's a lot of people where they click the button, they're like, did it work? So now we will have a message that after you click submit that will let you know that it actually submitted and let you know what's happening next on your behalf. So it'll be like submitted. Thank you for hitting the what happened button. This is what's happening on your behalf. If it doesn't work, please wait 3 minutes before you hit up support. Just wait a second. And it's right there. So the other thing is that activity section. Josh, if you want to pull up real quick the activity section. With this, every time you hit any of the send product info, anything, it will all be tracked in the activity section. So every time you send an IUL video, every time you send your license, it will all be tracked right here. Whereas when you clicked send Americo, whatever, it sent it, that's great, but you didn't have like any type of a historical timeline of what you've sent them. So everything will be tracked in that one section, which is exciting. So that's going to be helpful. And I think the number one thing is that it will work every time. So people won't have to be frustrated about that.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of like minor things that update will fix. And again, we already have some things planned. Once we switch over to that new system, it's going to make way for some other cool things that people have asked about that we're going to be able to do as well. So we're continuing to make it better. When do we sleep? Never. We can sleep when we're dead. And for not sleeping, we might get there faster. But hey, Lead Champ will work. So a couple closing things. Number one, right? If somebody that needs to check out Lead Champ, go to leadchamppro.com, book a demo with the man himself, Nick Odom. He'll make sure you're taken care of. Use the support button. Okay. Like, not even going to get into that, right? You can book with Nick, but the button is better, right? We have a whole team of people. We're literally an international company, Jamie. I mean, we're in the US, Brazil, Colombia, the Philippines, Pakistan. I mean, we have people all over the globe that just can't wait to answer your support query. So hit the support button, book a demo, and we have a bunch of people that are crushing it on leads. Shout out to Bryce Stenger. I know he's on the call. He has been absolutely crushing it on our IUL leads. I haven't looked at his sheet in the last couple of days, but he was at like a 7 or 8 times his lead spend the last time I looked at it. So love to see Bryce is definitely on the come up. So pay attention to him. And tomorrow at 10 a.m., right? We're going to be in the Discord channel. So in Lead Champ Pro, make sure any agents, any staff that are doing dialing for you are in the Lead Champ Pro Discord, and go down to live dials. We'll be there at 10 a.m. Eastern time sharp. Be there, like camera on. Yeah, I mean, you can listen to Jamie and I. That's what it's there for. But who was I talking to, right? Maybe I was talking to you, Jamie. Maybe it was Dawson Bruce. And it was like, listening is one thing, but getting listened to is the real thing, right? So once you unmute and let people hear you, it's kind of like the thing, if anybody's ever coached sports or taught anything, right? You think you know the thing, and then you have to teach it. That's when you like really get good at the thing. So listening to Jamie, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, I kind of sound like that. But then somebody listens to you and it's like, no, you don't sound anything like that. Let's change this, this, and this. So we'll be there for an hour tomorrow. Show up, ready to roll, and we're gonna make appointments on average. Most people that at least I talk to, a lot of people have their, cameras off and they're like hiding, set 2 to 3 appointments per session. So, come there. We'll see you tomorrow. Anything else, Jamie?
Always have lots of fun updates, and we're working on all kinds of things we haven't shared. Dialer for non-Lead Champ Pro users is coming shortly. Had a small hang up on that, but that'll be big for anybody who is needing to dial through aged leads. The Connect Power Dialer is definitely a game changer for that. Other than that, if you're not coming to Ignite in Florida, you should. That's going to be a lot of fun in October. So we'll be there. We can't wait to see you.
All right, guys. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.